So
It was just their interpretation.
All right, everyone, the mics are on?
We all set?
This is the problem with but we can still start it off with
Well, how long will it take you?
a second.
so how do we
I'll
start?
tell you, we'll give you till 5 after, and we'll
All
start.
right, Greg's.
They'll put them under the gun.
What's that?
I said, we can't start until we're live, right?
100% yes. I agree completely. If it's not recorded, we're not doing it. If we can't record it, we're not doing it. Are we live now? Are mics on?
We're live, right?
And is everything recording? Yes to both? Mics are on and we're recording?
We're recording, mics are on, we're not live.
We're not
Live
video.
not on YouTube, just not on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay. All right, good evening. Welcome to Danvers Conservation Commission
We're gonna have
for
to speak up.
October the 23rd, 2025. We operate under the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Chapter 26 of the Town of Danvers General Bylaw, the Wetlands Protection Bylaw. After each applicant presents his or her request and the board has had time to ask questions and discuss the project, we will accept questions from the audience. Because this is a public meeting, it's required by law that you give your name and your address before you speak. Although we may disagree on the issues raised, all persons present during this meeting are expected to be civil to all of the meeting attendees. This includes members of the commission, staff, abutters, concerned citizens, property owners, and project applicants. We also request that you confine your questions to the project and only as it pertains to the Wetlands Act. We cannot handle, nor do we have jurisdiction over matters such as noise or traffic. All problems not related to the Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Danvers Wetlands Protection Bylaw must be taken up with other boards. Just first order of business, logistics-wise, I guess we are having some technical difficulties, so right now we're just on audio with no video, and we cannot have any remote input at the
Correct.
moment, okay?
Yep, they're working on it right now.
So we'll proceed with our first agenda item, because I presume those people are present. But before we start, I'm going to just roll call. Peter Wilson is present. Lorraine Drapek.
Present.
Mary Height.
Present.
Michael Splain.
Yeah?
And Paul McNulty, which we would like to welcome as our fifth member. We've been long anticipating having a fifth member. So, welcome, Paul. And just further clarification, there's one item tonight, 46 Riverside Street, the notice of intent. Paul will not be able to participate in that because he has not been privy to the previous meetings on this particular. But all the others are open starting tonight, so he can participate for those. And a further clarification, with some give and take with the town council and our quorum status. Our last meeting, we only had 3 members present, and there was a little discrepancy as to how the voting would go. Originally, we thought that it would need to be unanimous, so 3 members of the board would have to vote to accept the proposal. But after some give and take, it's been discovered that a simple majority of the quorum, or 2 to 1, would mean approval. So going forward, hopefully we'll never get into that situation where we have just 3 members, hopefully have at least 4 or 5. Okay. The first item on our agenda is a request for a partial certificate of compliance for 7 Hutton Street. The DEP file number was 14-0355. The applicant is Kathy Chadwick, and somebody. Hello, Kathy. Thanks for coming. And you are?
Yeah, Thor Akerley, professional wetland scientist from Williams and Sparages.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, just give us an overview of what this whole.
Sure. Yeah. So this, the plan you're looking at here is an existing conditions plan our office prepared for 7 Hutton Street. There was an order of conditions issued in the late 1980s for the construction of this house, development of this lot, and 1 lot just above it. The reason it's a partial is because the lots have since sold to new owners, and the other lot is owned by somebody else. So we're here tonight requesting a partial certificate of compliance just for 7 Hutton Street. The unique part about this one is that us and Emily and Kathy have all tried to find some reference to or an approved plan somewhere. It doesn't appear to exist in the town files. Kathy even reached out to the engineers who permitted the project in the 80s, and they could not find any record of it either. So we did go through the effort of preparing this plan, even though we don't have much to compare it to, just to show the commission, what's here on the ground. You can see On the left-hand side of the drawing, we have the wetland boundary that was shown on that approved plan, a little bit of a buffer coming up to an existing lawn area, which is the half circle line there. And from there, the area slopes up a little bit and comes up to the single-family house, which was constructed in the late 1980s. A paved driveway, a small deck, and a stone parking area on the front side of the dwelling facing Hutton Street. Anecdotally, I think when you go to the site, you can see that there didn't appear to be much encroachment beyond what I would say is, a logical place to start or stop a development. The edge of the lawn exists right along the toe of a slope. My guess is the erosion controls were installed right there, and they worked up from there, building the house and driveway and whatnot, developing the site. We went through the order of conditions. We didn't see anything in there that was violated or, that caught our eye as a concern. So we submitted the request for certificate of compliance, noting that there did not appear to be any substantial deviations from at least the order of conditions. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or.
Show me on the map where the second lot is. And these were two connected lots at one point?
I believe so, yes, and they were subdivided.
I'm sorry, could you just let us?
You have to
Yes,
go
please
up
just
there.
go up to the microphone and introduce yourself before you speak. That's all. That's okay. It's okay.
That one.
It's on this side.
We're just
Hi,
going to unplug
Kathy
for 1 second.
Chadwick, and I'm here for 7 Hutton. That was my dad's property that was willed to him back in the
Be in the back.
80, actually, I think it was in the 50s. So my dad had this large part, it's not even a large parcel of land, but he was able to subdivide it into 2 lots with the lot that he took, which is Lot 1, for his sole home that he planned on building, and he sold the other lot. I don't know when, but
And the original
Approval not required.
the original order of conditions was issued for both lots?
Yes, the original order of conditions was to develop each lot, and then Lot 2 ended up getting their own separate order of conditions that was issued and closed out in 1995. But then this original one was just never.
So this original one just been open for that
It's just
long?
been open, yeah.
So there's no original plan, so we don't know if there's an as-built?
Nope, I searched every file in Town Hall that I could find. We couldn't locate any, so the recommendation from DEP was to get an existing conditions plan to at least memorialize what's on site. Should any future development be proposed, we are saying that what is on site is final.
And is what's there now agreeable with all our wetlands regulations?
It seems to be, especially with what had been proposed, or what the regs were back then. So yeah, we have no concerns with getting this closed out.
Okay, all right, thanks. That's all I have for questions. Mike, any questions?
Were you able to compare the original notice of intent with what's here now?
So we didn't have a plan to even go off of.
No,
so-
you didn't.
No,
So when the order of conditions was recorded, what was recorded with it?
there was a plan, but then that plan had been modified, and we have no copy of that modified plan anywhere.
And the original plan does not,
It shows the structure that's similar to this, but
It
without
does.
having that modified, we can't say, yes, 100% this was built according to what that modified
Yeah.
plan was, because it,
and
decades of files, we couldn't find it.
whatever was built, when was it built?
90s?
The 90s?
Yeah, I think early 90s
Yeah.
is when that was built. 1989.
And there's no building permit application or anything? There was, yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
But the separate lot is all closed out.
The separate lot is still open for this, so this is just closing out Lot 1. Lot 2 that's on 12 Glen Street is still open, or 12 Glen Avenue is still open.
Is there a COC on that?
No.
No.
Nope, for this file number at 12 Glen Avenue, no. So we'll be reaching out to those homeowners to get their own partial COC. So this is just to close out the 7 Hutton portion of it.
Okay, and is this to facilitate a sale? Are you, is this,
And Kathy, I'm sorry, please go up to the microphone.
Yes, we go
Sorry,
back.
thank you.
Did you check the other lot to see if the plan might be with that
Yep.
file? It wasn't? No, thank you.
So my father unfortunately passed away August 2nd. He's not here to see this. We learned about this about a year ago. So the plan is to eventually sell the house. It has to go into probate. There's 6 kids. It's a little bit complicated, unfortunately. So it might be there for about a year before we can sell it. I can sell it
Okay.
as the personal representative.
okay, great, thanks. Paul, any questions?
Probably a dumb question, but where, can you actually point out where the wetlands are in there? That's 100, the dotted 100-foot belt? There, okay. Okay. Thanks. That, though.
And does riverfront come into play at all? I know there's,
Yeah, there
Small
would have been a
little-
river, I think, riverfront area here down on the westerly portion of the property. It's a tidal river, but that didn't exist in the 80s. It came in the mid-90s.
okay, Paul, you all set?
Yeah, thank you, yes.
Lorraine, any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Mary?
I'm good.
Okay. It seems to me pretty straightforward, so if someone can make a motion, we'll give them their certificate of compliance.
I'll make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance.
Sorry, just a partial CO.
It's going to be a partial, isn't it?
Yep.
A partial certificate of compliance for 7 Hutton Street, DEP file number 14-0355, applicant Kathy Chadwick.
I second the motion.
Just a quick question before we vote.
Yes.
What is the other, the parcels, the other Glen Ave
Yes.
property?
Yes,
So we're just splitting this, but just allowing this piece of property.
correct. This is releasing just 7 Hutton Ave from the order of conditions.
Okay. All right, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, can we proceed with 80 Water Street, or should we?
Yes, yep, I got the thumbs up from IT. We should be all set to proceed with 80 Water.
Okay.
Oh, just a question for staff, if you don't mind. How, if someone wants to weigh in, how are they going to do that from the public?
They fixed it. So
They
the person
fixed that?
The person that's remote, he's up there right now, the JH on the bottom of the screen, he'll be able to come in remotely. I'm going to unmute him right now.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
All right, next order of business is a request for a certificate of compliance for 80 Water Street, DEP file number 14-1217. The applicant is Peter McKinnon. And Emily, was this a partial again?
No, this is a full COC, but it's just for one portion of the work. They're submitting.
So one particular project. Do they have a separate order of conditions for the other
Oh,
work?
no, they're going to be submitting a new NOI for other work on the property. This is just to close out an expired order.
Was the work done?
One portion of it, Dave will be able to review that.
Okay, because this applicant was in front of us
Yeah.
within the past year or so?
I think I can help you guys make sense of all the different layers that are on this property.
Okay.
Okay, so for the public record, my name is David Cowell. I'm a senior wetland scientist with Hancock Associates here tonight on behalf of Peter McKinnon. So as you were implying, Peter, that this property, there's been odds and ends of work that he's done without a permit that were subject to an enforcement. And we've been trying to work with him to bring into compliance the work that he did. And there is a forthcoming notice of intent. It's long coming, and I regret how long it's taken. But I've talked to Emily, and we're planning on filing that on Monday to meet the filing deadline to be on your hearing in November. So in terms of basically bifurcating what work was done on the property that, without a permit, that is subject to enforcement, that needs either after-the-fact permitting or modifications to make it conforming to regulations, not only Conservation Commission, but there was a ZBA issue out here as well on zoning. So Tonight, this is a request for a certificate on a permit that he was issued in 2014, I think it was, that permitted the construction of a single-family home addition. So Hancock Associates did as-built. Well, we did existing condition survey of what exists out there today, but that constitutes as-built survey of what he had constructed. So we looked at the 2014 permit, and we had our civil engineers review the as-built and determined that the addition that he did build under the 2014 permit was, in fact, built according to specification, and it's only that portion that we're looking to have the request for a certificate issued on. So it would be a certificate compliant on that 2014 order of conditions. The other associated work that's out here, there was a shed that was constructed. We learned that shed was non-conforming to ZBA, so we've since worked with the applicant to design a shed that we will be, you will be seeing in this forthcoming notice of intent that is ZBA compliant, that it was a height requirement and a setback requirement. So he's in process of removing the shed that was, he built in error, and we will be looking for permission to build a different shed. The retaining walls out here, this is a property located on the Crane River where he has, I think there's like 3 different tiers of retaining walls as he staggers down to the river. It was observed that he had done some work on those retaining walls. That was the result of an auto accident. There was a car that actually, the accident resulted in, and forgive me, Peter, was it your car or the other car that went over the fence? And both. It went over his fence and down and damaged those retaining walls. So and again, I don't want to get into anything that'll be subject to deliberation under the notice of intent, but again, just updating you. That retaining wall we determined was repaired in kind as it had been damaged. It's a stone and mortar wall. So we're looking to have that covered under the notice of intent as well. And he also has a modest dock out here and a gangway that goes down to it. And it was discovered that was never permitted. So we worked with a company called 5 Fathoms Consulting to assess whether or not, it doesn't have a Chapter 91 waterway license either. So we worked with 5 Fathoms Consulting to look at what exists there today and see how we might modify it to meet standards that would be expected under a Chapter 91 waterways license and based on comments received from the Danvers Harbor Master. So that's forthcoming as well. We'd like to have that permitted. You'll see in the forthcoming thing. There's no increase of surface area, but there's a few minor structural modifications to make to it to make it conforming, which we will propose. And then we're hoping to get the order of conditions, and once the commission verifies that it's approvable under the Wetlands Protection Act and your local bylaw, we'll pursue the Chapter 91 waterway license. We're sitting on that application until we make sure that there's no revisions that would come out of the Conservation Commission. So that's it in a nutshell. Tonight we're here on the request for a certificate for the 2014 permit, which we believe through as-built survey have confirmed that it was built according to specification. And we're looking forward to being in front of you again next month with this notice of intent application to address any modifications that he made without a permit that requires after-the-fact permitting from the commission. With that, I would entertain any questions if you guys have any for me.
I have a question for staff at first.
Okay.
So we do have separate NOI applications?
The applicant will be submitting a separate NOI.
No, for the second, but for the addition that we're talking about right now. This is
this one.
Right.
The order of conditions is for the additions. That's what we're
And
closing out.
you've been out to inspect it, and
Yes,
it,
yeah, I've been out to site
as
maintenance.
built is conforming? Oh, okay. Mike, any questions?
Does the subject of the enforcement order have anything to do with what we're seeing tonight?
No, the applicant has been responsive and has been working with us throughout the entire summer to try to get this all resolved. So as a first step, this is an old expired permit, let's get this closed out. Anything that's after the fact and any new work is going to go on to the new NOI.
And what's the status of the enforcement order now?
This will effectively clean up most of that, and then the new NOI will address the rest of that too.
I think the
Okay.
enforcement order was over floats.
Yeah, and that's being addressed in the new application when that comes in.
Thank you.
Paul, any questions?
Maybe just a general question. Is it common for staff to go out and just check the properties to make sure the work's done? That's how
Yes.
it gets it done?
Yep, all the time.
All right.
For, certificate of compliance, they have what they call the as-built plan, and they
Okay.
compare that to the proposed plan when we issued an order of conditions. And if the two of them line up, we're good to go.
Thank you.
Lorraine, any questions?
No questions.
Mary?
I'm good.
Okay, so do we just word a motion against this?
Sir? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, it sounds like there's someone online that would like to speak. Pete, is that okay?
Okay, who is that, please?
Good evening. My name's Jared Hockman. I'm an attorney for the law office at 1 Sprague Street, Revere, Massachusetts, and I represent Thomas Green, who resides at 82 Water Street, Danvers, Massachusetts.
Okay,
And I'm appearing before you tonight to ask that the certificate of compliance not be issued. And the reason that my client is asking for that is because of all the non-conforming structures that have been built on this property without proper permitting, without proper notice to the Conservation Commission. The town of Danvers planning technician Brian Cassidy issued a cease and desist from work to be performed on this property on June 26, 2024, which has not been honored. Structures that have been asked to stop being worked on were worked on after that. The applicant is seeking to close out an order of conditions from 2014 when he knew that he would need another order of conditions for the additional work to be performed based upon the original application in 2014, yet sought to do work without an order of conditions or with ZBA approval. I would ask that you hold this matter until that subsequent NOI is filed, because there's a history with this applicant for non-compliance.
okay, so noted. Board members, any comments?
Well, just that, this is the first time this is before us, and when are they filing, when do you anticipate you filing the notice of intent?
We plan on filing the notice of intent, finalizing it tomorrow for submittal on Monday to meet a filing deadline to be on your November 13th hearing.
Well, maybe we should put the order of condition, the COC over until we see the notice of intent and see how they relate.
What is the,
We're gonna be back here anyway.
what's your reasoning, what's your logic for trying to get a certificate of compliance for just this one piece?
We're completely indifferent in the context that we were asked to file the request for a
All right.
certificate by the Conservation Commission in order to differentiate that which was permitted and that which hasn't been permitted.
Well,
So
I
this
think the
was at the
notice of
request of the
intent would shed
Conservation
more
Commission.
light on what's going on there.
Yeah, there's no sense of urgency on our part that this matter is resolved tonight, that you issue the certificate of compliance. It's happy to continue the hearing until you see the notice of intent. But this, again, it was at the request of the commission to file the request for a certificate and the separate notice of intent to differentiate that which was permitted and that which hasn't.
Okay, so Emily, I'm going to put you on the spot. What,
Well, we'll make a motion to continue.
no, I just want to find out staff's reasoning for wanting to get one cleaned up without the other one being talked about at the same time.
Sure, so this is an old expired order, so no work can be done under this order anyway, so this was a first step in getting the property cleaned up, and getting the deeds cleaned up on the property, so that a new NOI would be a fresh start. You're welcome to continue, of course, to do both at the same time, to compare and contrast if you would.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we probably should.
yeah, I do too.
Okay, so if that's the question, if that's our decision, is there, Mary and Lorraine, you
Yeah,
go with that?
that sounds reasonable.
Makes sense, right?
Okay, Mike, should,
All right, I'll make a...
attorney had to work and give us a nicely worded motion there.
I'll make a motion to continue the application for a COC for Certificate of Compliance for 80 Water Street, DEP file number 14-1247, applicant Peter McKinnon. Do you want that to our, is that to our next date, or will you have your notice of intent filed by then?
Oh, yeah, that's Monday, yep. this
All right.
coming Monday.
So when is our next meeting?
November
11,
13th?
11/13?
11:13 then.
Correct.
Okay, the motion's been made. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we'll see you
Outstanding,
at our
thanks.
next meeting.
We'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jared.
Okay, next up is a notice of intent for 46 Riverside Street, DEP file number 14-1440. The applicants are Adam and Genevieve Wood, and this has been continued since sometime in September. Just a quick refresher from my mind, Emily, why did we continue the last time?
At the
Or maybe
last,
Bob, you...
Because they thought it was going to need a unanimous vote, I think.
No, I think that was before that.
No, the last meeting. It was the last meeting.
That was the last one.
Last meeting.
why did they continue from October 9th? I believe that it was because there were 3 members here, but you can ask the applicants, of course.
Bob, what's your recollection? Do you-
Of why we continued? Yeah, we were concerned about the attendance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were just 3 of us?
Yeah.
That's,
It's just
that's,
three
yeah,
of us.
okay. No.
Okay.
The more the merrier.
Let's proceed.
Okay. So thank you very much. So, this project started back in March when we first provided plans to the harbor master and the town before we had filed our application. We talked about the locations, the work along the shoreline, and the need to provide a certain length to achieve, full tidal access. And so we've incorporated the comments in the spring before we filed, and obviously we filed again in July. Some additional comments came up from the Conservation Commission regarding the number of piles and the locations, and so the Woods, I think, were very responsive always, really, to all the comments that have come up, and they decided to go to the more expensive aluminum truss systems, which probably halved the number of piles to be driven in the river, and it also significantly increases the span of the piles, from pile bent to pile bent. So our current plan, which is here, our September 4th plan, shows a pair of pile bents there, another there. Those are about 45 feet apart. And I think that's really generous for anybody who wants to maneuver small watercraft outside the main channel of the river. I can't imagine not being able to negotiate your small watercraft through something that's 45 feet wide. And I think that, again, we've tried to accommodate all of the requests that have come up. During the process, we were provided a copy of the 2025 dredging feasibility report that the town had commissioned from Foth Infrastructure. And in the Foth report, they make the point of saying, this is an area that the city or the town might decide to widen the river in the future. So we currently have a 100-foot channel, which is shown from this blue line to this blue line out in front of the property. And we're quite a distance away from there. We're about 60-something feet away from the current channel at our closest point here. But the Foth report discussed, well, if the town has enough money and they decide that they want to dredge the river to a wider channel, it would go up to 150 feet, and we would still be 17 feet away from that wider channel. We looked at the side slope issue and determined that we would not have to move anything if the town went ahead with that project. Nevertheless, the Woods have committed to you on several occasions now that if the plans change such that this is in the way, then they will move it. And so they're very sincere. They don't want to try to make things difficult for anybody. They obviously have got a good design here. We meet all of the regulatory criteria. We have shoreline access here of 7 feet where 5 feet is required. We've, again, tried to use very environmentally sensitive materials, the aluminum with the flow-through decking. We meet the town requirements regarding the size of the docks and out in the river. So, again, I think we've done an earnest job in trying to meet all performance criteria. Just before our last meeting, which sort of got continued, I had provided a letter with some pictures, and I don't know if you've had a chance to see those, but I did bring copies of them with me, and we could probably bring them up if necessary. But, the existing pier at the Wood property, well, yeah, we can go with this one for a minute. This was a graphic that I included with our October letter, and what you can see here is this area here is the existing wood pier with the floats out here resting on the mud. This happens to be a winter picture, so it turns out that the floats are actually tied up to the shoreline here. But those floats, every single tidal cycle, are down, hitting the mud and disturbing and creating silt, and not really beneficial to water quality. And so that's one of the reasons to put the proposed floats out here at the deeper water. So there'd be no need for this regular mud disturbance. We also talked at an earlier meeting about the safer aspect of having a deeper water access. There's nobody be rushing back to get to the home because the tide's going out and we're a little behind schedule. There's no concerns about people trying to do prop dredging so that they can deepen their berthing area. So there's a lot of reasons to have regular water access, and really what's needed is just, or what's designed is really just enough to provide that full tidal access. So we're not going any further than is required to accomplish that. That's consistent with the DEP regulations. It's consistent with the Chapter 91 regulations. Very specifically, the waterways regulations say that for these residential structures, you should put them no longer than is necessary to achieve the water-dependent purpose for which they are designed. And that's what we have here. We have a water-dependent boating facility here, and it's only to the extent necessary. Now, if we look at the other piers in the area, so we've got the existing one at 42. We're a little further from that one. You can even see how the shallow water here would impact boating if you tried to use that area. This is the one that's just finishing up the permitting with the Chapter 91 process. I understand that a draft permit has been issued for that. It's already achieved Danvers Conservation Commission approval. It's certainly closer to the channel by a significant amount as compared to the Wood project here. We have these other piers on the opposite side of the river, closer to the channel again than the Wood pier. Some people had also suggested at one point in the process that there's a regulation that says something like you can only go 25% of the width of the river in a linear waterway, and that's really not a regulation in any DEP regulation. There is a 1996 guidance document from the Corps of Engineers which refers to this, and really what it says is, in a linear waterway, and you can assume similar conditions on each side of the waterway, we want to save 50% the middle area for the boating traveling public, and that would provide 25% on each side. In this particular case, when we measure from our mean low water line here to our mean low water line on the opposite side, we get 360 feet. So 25% of that is 90 feet. Now, we're a little bit more than 90 feet here. We're about 110, I think. But over here, you're less than 90 feet by quite a bit. And it turns out that actually if you go from these floats or piers on this side to this side, you're over 50%. We're about 53%. So we really meet that criteria in any event. It's just that the shape of the bottom is not symmetrical on both sides of the river, and that's why that comment, I think, has come up. We also, back to the pictures for a moment, we have an existing wood pier at the Woods' property that is clearly deteriorated, clearly needs replacement. It just is not safe. I don't think it's safe to have the floats bouncing around in the mud every day. We also have the pictures that we provided about the deteriorated concrete seawall. This is not long for the world, and so part of our project involves repairing the seawall here at the shoreline. The other advantage of using the seawall repairs as part of our pier project is it moves the pier construction 50 feet closer to the center of the river than the current location. So right now we start back here, and here we start up here. That's about a 50-foot gain in access. Let's see. I want to point out that we have no negative comments from DEP. We actually have a nice letter from Department of Marine Fisheries back from July after we had first filed, and they were fairly complimentary of the design. They said, listen, you've met the 30-inch separation between the mud line and the floats. They specified some construction techniques that we've incorporated into the project: the slow start pile driving operation, avoiding grounding the barge,
minimizing the potential for fuel spills, and ensuring upland storage of the floats during the winter season. So again, just like these floats have been moved to an upland location, these floats can be moved to an upland location in the winter. There's also the possibility, and it's a common practice on the river, to move your floats onto a mooring so that they're in a safe location. This design has a hoist beam at the end of the gangway so that the gangway can be lifted up out of the water and above the flood zone, so that when the winter storms occur, that gangway is up and safe from harm. So we've got no impact on the potential improvement dredging. We have no impact on any moorings. You can see the moorings are really quite a distance away from the wood property here. And again, we meet all the performance standards. So I think that sort of summarizes our project. I'd be happy to address any questions at this time. And I know that before we finished up, Jamie wants to say a few words as well.
I'm happy to wait until you ask your questions.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it that way. So if you can just wait until we ask questions. My first question is, what's the timing on the construction? Is the land work going to be done first?
Well, I don't think so. I think that the work of the seawall, I think it touches the mean high water line. It requires a Chapter 91 license, just like the pier requires a Chapter 91 license. The Chapter 91 licenses are taking 6 months, sometimes even a year to get through the process. There's a Corps of Engineer permit as well that's required. That typically happens at the same time as the Chapter 91 permitting, and typically takes less time than the Chapter 91 permitting. So I think that we probably won't get much done during the next construction season, given where we are, unless Chapter 91 for some reason speeds up their performance.
Okay. I mean, I would like to see that as part of this project. That's what appeals to me the most. And where would the float storage be?
So they would have the opportunity to either secure a mooring in the river to put the floats on a mooring, or they could bring it to an upland location, or they could bring it to a boatyard.
Okay, so there's not much upland space on that piece of property, is there?
So this you can see sort of the high water line here where it hits this. I think if you just drag this float up a little bit further, it would be out of the tidal cycle completely.
Are those floats there now, or when was this picture
They
taken?
were, this picture, this is a 2024 picture. This was before the Woods bought the property, but that was the practice at that time.
Okay, so, because I don't think they're there now, are they?
No, they're
No.
not.
Okay, that's all I have for now. So let me ask the other members of the board what they have for questions. Mike?
Yeah, so, Bob, you meet all the requirements you cite, but, our bylaw is, besides that, would say that, in addition to meeting the otherwise applicable requirements, you have to prove by a preponderance of the credible evidence that there's no practical alternative to the proposed project with less adverse effects, and you have to show that the mitigation measures would have no significant adverse impact. And as I just point out in our bylaw, in reviewing activities involving the construction, use, and maintenance of docks and piers, this commission shall presume that the activity is likely to have a significant or cumulative adverse effect on the resource area values of storm damage prevention, shellfish, fisheries, wildlife habitat, aesthetics, erosion, sediment control, aquaculture, and recreation. So it's not just that, yeah, we tick all the boxes, but we start with a presumption that this is going to have an adverse effect. Our harbor master has weighed in on this. I see that an alternative, I like that you're fixing the seawall. I like that you're moving the pier project closer to the center, because that's the preferred approach, isn't it, to have it come off the center of the property. I like that it's perpendicular. I don't like that it's too long, and I think as an alternative, it could be shorter. I mean, I think the longer you make it, the more you run the risk of adverse effects on the habitat, the more you run the risk of adverse effect on the the use of the waterways, And frankly, I think although you check all the boxes, I don't think you overcome, and again, I'll say it, I don't think you overcome the presumption that we have to presume that the activity is likely to have a significant cumulative adverse effect on the resource area.
So I disagree with you, and the reason is, I think it's just, it's plain as the nose on my face, is that, we have this pier that is, 180 feet long here, and it's in terrible condition, and we're going to remove that.
Oh, yeah, I'm
that
all
dangerous
for
condition.
that.
Right. So clearly, putting in a longer pier with deeper water access has less environmental impacts than this existing structure, and so there's a significant benefit to removing this. As I mentioned, these floats out here land on the mud every single time the tide goes down, and therefore impairs water quality. So we're going to have better water quality as a result of this particular design. Now, you also mentioned mitigation, and part of our project includes adding some infiltration next to the house to improve stormwater management. We're also removing about 600 square feet of concrete that's underneath the wooden deck here, so we're going to be improving stormwater management in that particular area. It does remind me that the town...
Well, that deck's not functional anyway, that wooden deck, correct?
Well, it's usable, but it's not in great condition. It certainly needs to be upgraded. But my point is that there's a concrete mat underneath the deck, which is preventing water absorption into the ground. And so by removing that and adding the infiltration structure next to the house, we're going to be improving the stormwater performance in this area. And that's another benefit of this project. So I think that, the reduced number of piles, the better water quality resulting from this structure, and what I think is really safer access to the waterways as compared to this, to a facility that was shorter.
All that would apply
important.
to a shorter pier. Everything you said would be
you
applicable
mentioned that
to a
you thought
shorter
that
pier,
you-
using the construction methods you're using or proposing now.
We are using very appropriate construction methods, but I think in your statement, you mentioned that you think that we will be less safe on the river as a result of this structure than not. And I think the opposite is true. I think this is safer for everybody on the river. And again, I think...
Yeah, you mentioned about people might not get back on the tides, from the tides in time. I think people that live on the river will know the tides.
Well, okay. Okay.
So is that what you base your safer opinion on, just on the fact that
May I
you're...
speak?
When I'm done asking my question. Bob, you had said that...
I think there's a number of safety improvements as a result of this structure. One is the removal of the deteriorated seawall, the removal of the deteriorated pier, and I do think having a deep water access is safer for the boaters because you're less apt to get stuck in the mud somewhere, you're less apt to make a hasty decision because you know that you're running out of tide time, and frankly, I think that if you're even in a small watercraft, having a floating dock in the water as the tide is going out provides you a place to just rest for a few minutes. And so I think that this facility does improve the safety along the waterway.
Okay, I just wanted to hear a little bit more than with just removing that existing dock. Go ahead.
My name is Jamie Medea from Buchanan and Associates, and I'm an environmental attorney. The reason I so rudely pulled the very capable engineer for the moment is you were beginning to go back again to matters that are not Wetlands Protection Act or your bylaw. And I appreciate very much Mr. Splain's knowledge, Commissioner Splain's knowledge.
I was reading from the bylaw.
Indeed you were. But what you were citing to was not resource area protection. I'm going to go through a few things here. I interceded because your decision-making today, as you know, is heavy enough for Wetlands Protection Act and your bylaw. A great deal of this conversation has been about use of the river, and that is not what a Conservation Commission does, respectfully. That is what a harbor master, Chapter 91 DEP, and your Rivers Committee, which has been meeting quite recently on that topic. So I'm going to go through a few things very quickly because I know you know your jurisdiction. Your own agent has said this application meets all your performance standards. It is on the record of the video. The engineer has stated, and he appears before you all the time, he doesn't speak lightly, this project meets all the performance standards. The Division of Marine Fisheries has said, thanks. It pleases us to see the floats at least 30 feet above the substrate. And even the harbor master, who wrote to you with an unfortunate desire about potential issues about the riverway in general, has said this project has minimal impacts. That's the letter dated June 19th of 2025. Now I get to the part which is delicate. I saw on the video voting individuals stating their personal bias against individual docks and piers in the river. That is not an authorized perspective for making a decision. It is also, respectfully, against the constitutional rights of all applicants to be treated equally in similar circumstances. Same facts, same law, same treatment. And if you look at that, you see what you've approved lately. And I think this application comes before you on an equal basis. And in fact, they've done better. As the engineer has pointed out, there are many others that did not do such a good job as they did in providing for the Wetlands Protection Act and your bylaw. For other people here, I know you know this, but the equal protection under the Constitution doesn't mean just where people get put in terms of jail. It means decision-making by government bodies. Everybody gets treated the same, including how they get treated here. And one is not authorized to import personal preferences for things like, I prefer open water, or I prefer long-time residents, as somebody said, not one of you, to newcomers. Those are not criteria under the Wetlands Protection Act. It was from a commentator, not from one of you. Chapter 91 is a different law, utterly different. I'm hearing very interesting and good dialogue about these topics, but I pulled back the engineer because you were getting into matters that are not Wetlands Protection Act or your bylaw. You have the ability in your bylaw to make a decision if you want to. You passed it, what are my dates here? Your bylaw is November 21st from town meeting, and the regs were January 11th of 2024. You townspeople have the ability to vote in something about where you want piers and docks and where you don't. That is not in your Wetlands Protection Act bylaw. Chapter 91 is a different law. It's like having your math teacher decide your grade in biology. If the Conservation Commission were to import Chapter 91 issues in deciding Conservation Commission matters. I just this evening, heard the use of the term use of waterways as a potential adverse effect. That is not in your bylaw. And the desire for a shorter pier should be accompanied by some sort of technical Wetlands Protection Act or bylaw criteria, which you have not heard from either the engineer or your own agent. So respectfully, I think you have an excellent application, one that has gone far beyond what others have. And with respect to your waiver criteria of 3.142, it meets the waiver criteria of improving the no-build zone. I am a lawyer. I am not the person who informs you on how it improves it. The application goes into extreme detail, not just off-the-cuff detail. And a very respected engineer has told you that, and your own agent has said that. So I think it's best if I conclude there, say thank you very much for your service, and I hope to hear, this is the last of we see of each other on this matter.
Okay, thank you. Can we proceed with our questions? Mike, do you have anything?
Well, I would just add that our bylaw does say we can consider the cumulative adverse effect on the resource area, whether it's storm damage, shellfish, fisheries, wildlife, aesthetics, erosion, recreation, aquaculture, sediment control, Section 4, Paragraph 3.
You are absolutely right. Those are criteria.
And I think the longer you make the pier, you increase the risk of adverse effects, just like the taller you make a building. And I'm making an analogy there. So, yeah, a shorter pier, I think, has less adverse effect than a longer pier, frankly.
I hear you. I think you have experts who have put it on the record why they disagree with you on that point.
Thank you.
You all set, Mike?
Yeah.
Lorraine?
Any questions?
Mary?
I'm good.
Is there any questions or comments from the public?
How you doing? My name's Rich Osterberg, and I'm the owner of 48 Riverside Street, right next to Adam and Jenna.
I remember you, Rich.
Yes, I do. You do. And I appreciate all the work you did for me on my pier, which was a lot longer than their pier. I'm here to talk. I want to just say about the safety of the. I watch 3 or 4 times a year boats get stuck in front of my house. They get grounded because they don't use the channel. They cut across right where the end of the dock is, and they get stuck in the mud flats, in the shellfish beds. Boats getting stuck in those shellfish beds are far worse than anything building a pier once. Okay, and I sit there and we laugh at them. And you say that the Danvers boaters are responsible? They're not. They're not, because I recognize these people. They're Danvers residents, and they still get stuck. And like I said, it would allow a dock of that length would allow people to have to go into the channel and use the channel, and not cut in front of our yards and cut in front of other people's yards and go so close to the pier.
And you say that because they wouldn't be able to get by the pier, they'd have to go around
Yeah, they'd have to
the
go
pier.
around, and they'd have to actually use the channel, which they're supposed to anyway. And I honestly wish the harbor master would enforce that a lot more. I saw him not a lot of times this year, sitting outside on the dock over here with he's got his little, his dock. I didn't see him at all. All year long, I watch people just race up and down this river, right in front of where we are, because because there's nothing to stop them. Now, I mean, when I came with my proposal for the pier, we had the same issues. It was the shellfish bed, it was the seagrass, it was all a bunch of stuff, and it took me 4 months to to get my approval. And I'm really being the next door neighbor, I have no problem with this. I mean, I have more of a problem looking at the docks across the street, because I know that they're not half as compliant as Adam and Jenna's. And, I mean, so I'm just here to support the project. It's not an issue. The length is not an issue. And it would actually help the people on the river to use the channel like they should be. That's all.
Rich, on this picture, could you show us approximately where your pier would,
My pier was coming straight out this way,
how far?
195 feet.
And with floats?
18 pylons, all the way down there with the seagrass and all that. And I have my plans here if you'd like to look at them. It was going to go right out here.
He hasn't built it.
And at the last meeting we had, and I think it was you who came up with the most responsible sentence, was that, when Army Corps of Engineers approves it, when the state of Massachusetts approves it, I mean, they are more, I'm not saying they're better than you guys, but they know the laws and that. And we approved, and after 4 months, we went through and approved it. Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm saying that, it's, I don't know. No, I don't. I'm trying not to be, because I remember my struggle. So, but I would love to see this. Like I said, I only think it would be better for the people on this side of the river to force the people to use the channel more.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clements?
Yeah, Pete Clement, town meeting member, precinct 3. As the gentleman mentioned, right over in here all the time. All right, constantly get, as well as the harbor master has that river marked, probably about 20 times a year, you get boats that are stuck there on the mud. I've gone in with my own personal watercraft, taking people off because, you know, the kids are crying, the rest of that. So that pier right there would definitely, you know, give you a little bit more direction into the channel. But the harbor master does mark the channel well, and a lot of people who are going up to Danvers Port or, you know, any other one of the marinas for over the winter or even in the spring or for repairs, they're always getting right on that mud bank. So that would help them out a lot. As far as the rest of it goes, you know, you say we got to protect the shellfish. Can I ask you a question? When was the last time we dug clams in Danvers, worms, or anything else? It's polluted. So what are we saving polluted land for? I don't understand it.
For hopes that it will heal and be non-polluted. I think that's part of the reason why we want all the floats
All
off
right,
of the mud.
I've been through 3 dredge cycles, okay? It hasn't healed yet.
And I've got children and grandchildren that are going to live here, and at some point, you'd want to have them have a clean riverbed. So that argument doesn't hold water with me.
Okay, let's go up on the other side of the river and look at what they're doing behind the theaters that used to be there. They're stripping all the land, they're putting in a landfill over there, all right? So you mean to say that landfill that they're putting it in over there, in that CAD cell, if you want to call it that ain't going to leach right back into the river? I'm telling you right now, it's polluted, okay? And if you go to the river committee and you talk to them, or the river committee, all right, they're all up in arms because the river's so polluted, all right? Go down to the river committee and see one of their meetings and see what they're talking about. Thank you. I don't
Thanks,
have
Peter.
a problem with that project.
Thank you. Sir?
Hi, my name's Phil Sudenfield. I live on 21 Tibbetts Ave, and I approve of this dock. I live at 21, which is right around on the point here, and past week I saw 3 boats run aground. I mean, you have to stay in the channel. Many people don't. Once in a blue moon, where the harbor master dock is, most of the time they're there for a short period of time, but once in a while they'll yell at boats, get back in the channel. You got to be very careful because that channel is very, very shallow outside of the channel. In the channel, there's no problem. So basically, you know, a lot of the boats, if you don't know the river, you got to stay in the channel, and that's a big problem. It's incredible how many boats I see run aground. So I just wanted
What
to...
are the consequences when a boat runs aground, other than the inconvenience and the embarrassment of it?
Well, the thing is, if they run aground, I've seen a lot of times they run aground, and someone might call the harbor master. Harbor master comes out, and they say, how long before high tide? I saw it once before, and the harbor master will say, the tide's still going out. So I saw a jet ski. They must have sat there for 7 or 8 hours on the jet ski, waiting for enough water to come in so they could float it to get back in the channel. So they wait.
Are there fines or any kind of
No,
penalties?
no, there's no fines. No, because, you know, it's human error. And as far as, you know, they run aground, they sit on the mud can be for hours. And once they're on the mud, depending on the size of the boat, it's very difficult to pull the boats, you know, out, especially if it's a, you know, big boat. So I see a lot of boats running aground, you know, because they're not staying in the channel. Okay? I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, just to counter that, I don't apologize if I'm arguing with you, but the harbor master is advocating for open water there. That's his big gripe about these, is that the length of these takes away from the recreational opportunities to use that water.
No, he's telling boaters to stay in the channel.
No, but as part of this application, he's not in favor of this.
Well, I'm trying to understand why. I mean,
I think I just said because he wants the recreational aspect of that water to be open too.
Well, I think like for kayakers and other type of small boats like that, the way the docks are designed, they go right underneath. They go right underneath and it's not blocking them or anything like that, so I'm trying to understand the logic on affecting, the...
Jet skis?
Huh?
Jet skis?
Jet skis should stay in the channel. They shouldn't be going under docks and everything.
Not under docks, but what's to prevent them from going on open water?
Yeah, well, they go in the channel, like all the other boats. They should be going on the channel.
The,
I'm not sure I
And
agree with that.
that's the thing I saw, was a jet ski that got stuck on the mud, and they were there for probably 8 or 9 hours. They couldn't get off, so they weren't in the channel.
you mind if I weigh in again?
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The argument that someone might be an irresponsible boater doesn't hold water with me. The idea, if I had my boat and I sat in low tide for 8 hours because I tried to do some shortcut, I probably wouldn't do that a second time. The other idea that two of the proponents here in favor have said, well, it's good, the longer pier acts as like a roadblock, people are gonna have to go around it. To me, that's another restriction.
No, it's to stay in the channel.
Yeah, but the argument was that they won't be able to use that portion because they'll have to go around.
No, because I'm trying to say they should stay in the channel. You wouldn't believe how many people run aground. You say, oh, they run aground,
No,
they
but
learn their
that's a
lesson.
different issue.
No, you just sort of said if they run aground, then they won't do it again.
No, I didn't say, well, I did say that because it seems
yeah.
seems to me that if I was, my boat was getting stuck in the mud,
Yeah.
and I knew why, I wouldn't do that a second time. But I don't, that's not the argument. And the two proponents had said, well, people don't ride their boat correctly or drive their boat correctly, and this will force them closer into the,
In the channel, which is navigable, so they won't run aground. And the thing is, all the boats going up and down the river, they're either coming out to go out Beverly Harbor and further out, or they're coming back from Beverly Harbor.
to me, that's just another counter argument that
No,
we're
I'm
gonna
just-
make the pier longer and people are gonna have to go around it.
No, they're not gonna go around it, they'll stay in. Why can't they stay in the channel? Because that's where they should be, that's why a
Okay,
channel.
well, now you're agreeing with me, they should stay in the channel, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's why the channel is there, and that's why they have the navigational buoys.
But you're saying a longer pier will make them stay in the channel, so a longer pier is good. That's really what you're saying.
No, well, yeah, but they should stay in the channel. They shouldn't be out, because you wouldn't believe how many boats run aground. So if they stay in the channel, it won't be a problem.
May I speak
to
your point?
Pardon me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Again, Jamie Medea, legal counsel. In Wetlands Protection Act and bylaw terms, what you're asking is what's good for the environment about a longer pier. What's good for the environment about the length of this pier is people do not run aground when there's low water. They stay in the channel, and the people who are on their own dock are not going back and forth in the mud flats, disturbing the shellfish, mucking up the water quality.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be doing that in the first place. That-
Whether or not they should be, they are, is what I think the people who live on the river do. My only reason for standing is to put this dialogue into Wetlands Protection Act and bylaw terms, which is, it is better for the water quality to have a dock that reaches open water than to have floats that bang around on the mudflats, which is why the Division of Marine Fisheries supported this, and why people do seek docks instead of just moorings, for example, so they're not going back and forth in uncertain tides and bouncing around. Setting aside safety, setting aside the screaming children that run aground, you are the Wetlands Protection Act and the bylaw people, and it is better for the Wetlands Protection Act and the bylaw. In my opinion, your agent's opinion, and the engineer's opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get to you, Rich.
Pete Clement, town meeting member, precinct 3. As you're saying, Mike, you think all the little boats should have a place to go. They don't need the channel. The little boats, the kayaks and the rest of that, most of the people are sitting in there in their little kayaks. Their head is about this high, so they can go underneath all those piers, all right? They got a paddle like this, and what are they doing? They're looking at everybody's yard, looking at the birds and everything else. The other people who are using this waterway for what its intended purposes, the people who are using that are in motorboats, all right? So they can't go over this area except for a flood tide. But the kayakers can at almost any tide. As long as there's water this deep, the kayak can go through. So you don't need the kayakers out here. All right? So you let them have this pier out to here, or whichever one it is. All right? The kayakers will stay there where they belong. All right? And the deep draft boats will be here where they belong. And what you were saying is because you don't like the length of these, okay? That just forces everybody to use the channel. Well, let's use a road, okay? If you're driving down the road and everybody goes around this corner and they hit a tree, what do? The town will go down and paint a line to keep you off that. Well, that's what we're kind of trying to do, okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Again, Rich Osberg, 48 Riverside Street. Just to answer your question about the people who get stuck in the mudflats. When they get stuck in the mudflats, they try desperately for the next 20, 30 minutes to get out of it. And they cause more muck and chaos trying to get out of it. And then when the harbor master tells them they have to sit there and wait for the tide to come up, as soon as they think the tide's up, they're revving it up, they're revving it up, they're revving it up. They're doing more damage in those 40-minute spreads, 20 minutes from being stuck and 20 minutes from getting out, than anything. I watch it all summer long. I sit on my deck with a beer in hand, and I listen to the wives yell at the husbands, and the husbands cursing everybody and their mother. But I'm telling you right now, and you're right. If they get stuck once, they probably won't do it again, but it's not the same people getting stuck. It's everybody getting stuck because it's all the new people down at the different marinas who think that they know everything around here. Now, that one little section, like I said, that one little corner between 46 and 48 and 50, it's a problem. As you know, the tide comes all the way out here, because when I had to build my dock, the float can't sit on the water, and we had to go that far just because of that. That is the lowest low tide. I can't walk out there. I mean, I can't use the beach behind my house because it's all mud the whole way out there. I mean, and I'm not saying every dock that they're putting on there. I'm talking about this dock right here. As much as you think the smaller one, it would be more beneficial for this one just to be a little bit longer than the rest to help out that one little corner. I mean, I think you saw the corner where I'm talking about. I think when the committee came to my house and they were in the backyard, we saw the backyard of it. It's this one little section. I mean, it's not impeding the whole river. It's not taking up everybody's waterway. I mean, it's a little corner, but that one little corner is where everybody thinks that they can go. I mean, I have kayaks, and I kayak underneath all these docks all the time. It's not an issue. Even if it's low tide, it's not an issue. So, but I mean, just think of that when you say, oh, I like it smaller. You like it smaller, you're just going to let more people get in there. That's it.
Any other questions? None? Okay, before we close the hearing, I'm going to poll the members of the board and just have your final comments. And let us know what you think. And I'll start. I think the reason we're here is that, the harbor master gave us an unfavorable opinion on this project. And I think he bases it mostly on the recreational use of the water that is compromised by these longer docks. I think 40 Riverside, is that the one that we approved recently? And there was no harbor master comment on that, and I don't understand why. That being said, we do not have a regulation that limits the length of the docks, and that's kind of where I have to draw the line, is that we pretty much have to go by what the regulations say. So as much as I don't feel comfortable about this, the length of this dock, I feel I have to vote yes, because we don't have a regulation that says it can't go that far. And that being said, just understand that the harbor master's comments will be forwarded with the Chapter 91 application, and it's just another hurdle you have to get over to get that, to get permission to build that dock. So I guess that's how I think. So, Mike, I'll give you a chance.
I don't know that we need to have a specific length regulation. I think we can use
We have no
common sense.
regulation, I think is the
I think the idea that, again, we presume that the activity has a negative effect, we're supposed to, even allowing that they meet the other applicable requirements, that I still feel that notwithstanding what some of the neighbors have said, that the longer pier increases risk of disruption to the habitat, to recreation, and to all the things that were listed here. Shellfish, fisheries, wildlife habitat, aesthetics, erosion, sediment control, aquaculture, and recreation. So they're all things that we need to consider. I think considering all those and the potential adverse effects, I'm not in favor.
Okay, thanks. Lorraine, what do you think?
Yeah, so I've been on this committee for a year and a half, but I will divulge. I'm a nurse practitioner by profession. I've heard a whole lot of big things in here that pertain to health, but none of them pertain to you. You've done a tremendous amount of work. You have done everything that, I can't think of another thing that you could possibly do. There are issues here, but there are bigger issues, I think, maybe that have to be dealt with somewhere else on the town level, so I would vote yes for you.
Mary?
My background is environmental, so I understand that the harbor master has a lot of concerns, but from a Wetlands Protection Act perspective, that's not what we're here for. So you have my full support, and I appreciate your patience as we work through this process.
What's that? Okay, is there any further public comment before I close the public hearing? None? Okay, if someone make a motion, we can close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
I'm sorry. Please make sure you just read the address and the DEP file number.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
I make a motion to close the public hearing for 46 Riverside Street, DEP number 14-1440.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next we need to vote on a waiver to allow work in the 35 no disturb zone at 46 Riverside Street, DEP file number 14-1440. Someone can make a
I
motion?
make a motion to grant a waiver to allow work in the 35-foot no disturb zone for 46 Riverside Street, DEP number 14-1440.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to grant a waiver to allow work in the 50-foot no-build zone for 46 Riverside Street, DEP number 14-1440.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
I make a motion to issue an order of conditions for 46 Riverside Street, DEP number 14-1440, with additional conditions as discussed, including comments from the Department of Marine Fisheries and conditions from the Harbor Master.
I second.
Okay, just before we vote, were there any additional conditions that we came up with?
No, nope, there were none. It was just to include the DMF comments and the Harbor Master recommendations.
Okay.
Or the Harbor Master, if it's approved, his 4 criteria, which have already been shared with you. Do we want to read those aloud? No. The Harbor Master and the DMF comments from, I sent them to you ways back.
DMF comments I'm clear on, I'm perhaps just saying, well, we're the Harbor Master.
So this was the Harbor Master comments from September 10th that I had sent over. It said if it's approved,
He just wants numbers displayed and so forth.
Should we read those into the
Yes,
record?
yeah.
Can we?
Yeah, go ahead then, Emily.
If you want to just reference it by date, that's sufficient.
Sure, yes, it's the September 10th Harbor Master comments. And yes, go ahead.
Is that just these 4?
Yes, those 4 were his recommendations if it's
So you
approved.
just want me to read them out?
Yes, yeah, read them through for the record?
Yeah.
Only if you want to. I have the letter.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay,
I still like it read into the record.
okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I can read it. Let me see, what's the title?
You say the Harbor Master comments states.
I'd like to add in the Harbor Master comments. Number 1, structure identification. The water-dependent structure shall display the property address and Chapter 91 license number conspicuously on both the fixed pier and float in perpetuity. These markings shall be clearly legible in 3-inch block letters. Number 2, foreshadow access. The proposed structure must not interfere with legitimate pedestrian access along the foreshore. Pedestrian access shall be maintained at all tide levels. If unrestricted passage cannot be guaranteed, the stairways on both sides of the deck shall be installed to ensure public access. Number 3, navigation and mooring protection. The structure and its use shall not encroach upon designated or customary navigation channels, mooring fields, or areas traditionally used for public recreation, such as swimming or sailing. The seaward end of the dock, including maneuvering areas, shall be sited with adequate setbacks from boating channels, mooring areas, and adjacent structures to ensure safe passage under all wind and wave conditions. The impact of the proposed structure on navigation by vessels under sail or power must be thoroughly evaluated. Number 4, dredging compatibility. Where the proposed structure may extend into a future dredge cut, no fixed piles or piers shall be permitted that could obstruct dredging operations.
Now, we're not reading in his initial comments about his
No, these were his comments for if this is approved, if an order of condition is issued, then he was asking if these would be included in it.
Well, I know, but he also provided his comments, and you haven't read those in. Are those going into the decision?
Order of conditions, no, if it's approved, these are the 4 conditions.
Well,
that
I
he
know,
asked
but
to be
are we
included in it.
forwarding he was asked to report on it, and he did. Are we forwarding that? Are we making that part of this?
No, just his 4 conditions.
And why not?
Because these are the 4 conditions that he asked for. If it's approved, to please include these.
I think his others are comments, not really.
Well, we discussed, we talked about it I mean, you said it yourself, one of the reasons you were concerned was the harbor master gave his
But
opinion.
that's advice.
Yeah, I know.
It's not
It's not part of the
regulation.
order of conditions.
It's not part of the order, but is it being forwarded?
That, I'm not understanding, being forward to who? Like, the harbor master will take his comments and share them throughout the Chapter 91 permitting process if he would like to, but that's outside of us.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded.
Second.
That's already- All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Opposed? So
No.
it's a 3-to-1 vote, so the motion does pass, and you are, just be aware, there's what, three-year limit, Emily? And after 3 years, you need to come back for an
Yes, if it won't be done within 3
extension?
years, please come back to see me before it expires, and you'll be able to get an extension. So,
Good luck.
Good luck.
Oh, do you have a card? Thank you. I'm out of the office tomorrow, but I'll be in touch next week. Thank you. Happy to like.
Yeah, well, yeah, you had a different perspective out there, right?
Jeez, we lost our crowd.
Yeah, well, that's good.
All right, next up is a notice of intent for 36 Sherwood Ave, DEP file number 14-1443. The applicants are Daniel and Hillary Gordon, and is someone here to represent?
Hillary, I'll pull your plan up for you here, one sec.
Thank you. Hello, my name's Hillary Gordon. I live at 36 Sherwood Ave. So I have 4 kids, so we're a large family, aging from 2 to 9 years old. And we are hoping to add an addition within the next year. Also down the road, since we all have to do it within a 3-year time frame, I'm hopefully planning to add another addition. It's like an in-law suite for my parents that live in Canada in hopes that they'll come visit me more. But that's down the road. I'm not even sure if I'll do it within the time frame. Just with the.
That's not part of this application, though, or is it?
It is, yeah.
So that's one of these two?
It's both of these. So this is the one I'm applying for them both, but this is the one we're doing within the next year. Hopefully, I just went to ZBA on approval on Tuesday. And then this one we will do hopefully within the next 3 years, but if we don't, I know I have to apply again. But I'm just giving myself the option.
Okay.
In order to do it if we do have the financial means to be able to. So I did hire Bill Manuel, but he's not here this week. But he kind of gave me some instructions on what to say. So we do need to file an NOI because the additions are in the no disturb and no build addition. But as he did the math, they're both well under the threshold. So the additions are only 4.2% in the 10% no build threshold, and then the 1.5% in the 20% no disturb threshold. We're going to take out this mats and these pavers and put in a whole bunch of mitigation like pollinator shrubs and plants that are helpful for bees and animals. I think that's all I have, so.
So is the mat right now impervious?
Yes.
So the water just runs off into the river or any which way?
Yeah.
And you're replacing with pavers, you said?
No, the mats, this is all just going to be mitigation, and this is the mitigation, and this will just be lawn.
Oh, okay. Where's the pavers you were talking about?
These are the current pavers too, so these are current that we're taking away. This is a little fireplace that was there when we got the house, so this is all the pavers and the mat. And we're not building anything there, this is the shrubs, the mitigation shrubs, and the rest will just be lawn.
Okay, and when I drove by there was a shed somewhere on the side. Is that in this plan at all?
So I think my husband said since yeah, there's a shed I think right here, but it's attached. So I think he said something. I don't know.
But that's outside of the scope of this project?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just looking. So you're asking us for waivers in 2 different areas. Could you just point those out on the drawing for us?
Yeah. So this is the one I want to do within the next year. So this is just a playroom to add more space for my
Right.
children to play. And then this is a covered patio. So it just have pillars here and a cupboard.
But the waivers are for distance from the riverfront. Can you just point those out? Or do you know?
If you can see my mouse, I can show you the 35-foot right along here.
Oh, yeah, so here's the 35, no disturb zone.
And then the 50 is.
And what's going on inside
right
the
there.
35? Just the, taking out that mat and the pollinator growing?
Yeah, and then just right to here is where the covered patio is.
And that's within the 50-foot?
Yeah. Where's the 50-foot, Emily?
The 50-foot is right where the mouse is. It's just past the pergola. That dotted line is the 50-foot no-build zone.
And the encroachment in that area met the criteria?
Yes, yep, not the criteria for the waivers.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
Mike, you have any questions?
Well, just, maybe Emily can see it better than me. How much of the work is being done, what work's being done in the 35 and in the 50 respectively, Emily?
Sure, so on the plan, this, let's see, the pollinator garden along here, this darker area on the plan, that's within the 35 and the 50, and then the.
Is that coming out or going in?
That's, as you can see on the right over here, or on the left, I'm sorry, it's a 3-foot wide, 3-foot wide mitigation pollinator garden with a block retaining wall.
And what does that mean? You mean for like butterflies and things, or bees, or?
Yeah, so there's a list of suggested plants over here on the plan for what will go into that garden. And then along the back here, the mat and the pavers are coming out, and this is where riverfront area restoration and mitigation is proposed.
And the applicant will work with staff as to what gets planted there?
Yep, it's the suggested plantings are here, and they're all what we typically see for pollinator gardens in mitigation areas.
Yeah. And I just asked the applicant, so what is the mat exactly?
My sons just play street hockey on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's like AstroTurf, right?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was
And
that
that's
there when you
coming
bought the
up, and then.
Yeah, we're happy to take it up immediately, but yeah.
And the fireplace is coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rooms you're doing, they're actually outside of the 35 and the 50, correct?
Right, I think
Yeah.
the only encroachment in the 50 is that
Yeah.
pergolas?
Yeah.
I
I don't see any problem with that.
Is the pergola covered?
Yeah.
So it's got a roof?
Yeah.
And I'm still new with this. Is that considered impervious and that has to be taken into account, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the math that's done around permeable, non-permeable, that's
It factors
included
that in.
now as non-permeable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes that into consideration.
And then what will you use on the surface where the pavers are where the fake grass is gonna come out?
Just the pollinator shrubs, and then it'll just be grass.
Just lawn?
Yeah, lawn. Yeah.
On the pergola, what kind of roof does that have? I was thinking pergolas
It's just the joists.
just joists, that run, isn't it like that?
I was hoping to just have it continue with the roof. It's just gonna look like it
Oh,
will
is
have
it still a
shingles.
pergola? No?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, let's just ask a follow-up question to that. Where does the runoff, the water, the rain runoff go to?
That may be a Bill Manuel question. But we have,
Does it say it on the drawing anywhere there? I mean, sure, Bill
I
is
don't
probably
see it
part
on
of
there,
it.
but they have, they do need a stormwater permit from engineering, so they've already applied for that, so that will address the runoff too.
Well, that'll be addressed through stormwater?
Yeah, the stormwater permit is needed, so they've already spoken with engineering about that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the engineers are comfortable with it, that's fine. Paul, any other questions? No? Lorraine, any questions?
No, no.
Mary?
I'm good, thank you.
Are there any questions from the public? Online?
No one's online.
No?
Okay.
Okay, I mean, I think we all feel good about this. Is that a fair thing to say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first need to vote on is the motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion. Make a motion to close the public hearing for 36 Sherwood Avenue, DEP number 14-1443.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up would be a motion to grant a waiver to allow work in the 35-foot no disturb zone.
I'll make that motion. Make a motion to grant a waiver to allow work in the 35-foot no disturb zone for 36 Sherwood Avenue, DEP number 14-1443.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is a motion to grant a waiver to allow work in the 50-foot no-build zone.
I make a motion to grant a waiver to allow work in the 50-foot no-build zone for 36 Sherwood Avenue, DEP number 14-1443.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to issue an order of conditions for 36 Sherwood Avenue, DEP number 14-1443, with additional conditions as discussed.
I second the motion.
Were there any additional conditions?
No.
None? No? Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Just, I'm sure you heard that there's a 3-year limit on these, and we encourage you to come back for a certificate of compliance.
Okay.
And if you're not done in 3 years, you can come back to us and we'll grant you a 1-year.
One-year
extension.
extension.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Make sure you
Good
come
luck.
back before it expires. Yes.
Okay, next up is old and new business. The first is minutes from our October the 9th, 2025 Conservation meeting.
And just a quick thing, you'll be able to vote on these, okay? Okay. Just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that.
Oh, no. Are we all good with those minutes?
Yes.
Okay, someone can make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the October 9th, 2025 Conservation Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Emily, is there any other pressing business that we need to be aware of?
No other pressing business. Next meeting is November 13th, so the way the calendar falls, we have an extra week in between the meetings. I'll be getting the information out to you all. The cutoff date is Monday, so I do anticipate a couple of applications coming in between now and then, and I'll have all that information out to you hopefully by the end of next week, so we'll be ready to roll.
Okay, good. And I received an email from Resilient Danvers Commission and their committee, and they're having a presentation on November the 5th, and I think Emily forwarded you guys that email yesterday.
Yes.
So it's November the 5th during the day, so I can make it, but others that have to work, I can understand why not. But if you do want to be there, it's an open invitation to anybody.
And what's it about? I think I read it, but I can't remember.
It's I think they call themselves Resilient Danvers, Emily?
Pull it up.
I know you sent it. I can look
They're,
at it.
they're just trying to,
It's a what?
You just have to RSVP to let them know that you're going.
they want to know your name.
It's about climate change and impacts that it's taking on the environment, and then the ways that Danvers is working to address that, and plans for the future, and how we're all working together.
I went to one of those 3 or 4 years ago with the town department heads, and it was pretty informative. So if you can fit it into your schedule, I'd say it'd be a good take.
Yeah, it should
Yeah,
be,
no,
it should
I'm
be
interested.
And the thing that convinced me is they said refreshments will be served, so. Whatever there's food, I'm there. Okay, yeah, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye, all right.
All right, good job, everybody.
All right, good job.